The invisible income ceiling. You've probably experienced this. You work incredibly hard, you hit a certain income level, maybe it's $5,000 a month, maybe it's $20,000, maybe it's $100,000, and then nothing. No matter what you do, no matter how many new strategies you implement, how many courses you take, how many hours you put in, your income just hovers around that same number. Sometimes it dips below, sometimes it peaks slightly above, but it always comes back to that level. You've hit what I call the quantum wealth threshold, and understanding this will completely change how you approach building wealth. Here's what most people don't realize. Every income level has an energetic threshold, an invisible ceiling that's not about your market, your skills, or your effort. It's about the energetic frequency you're operating at. Think of wealth like quantum physics, where particles exist at specific energy levels. They can't exist between levels. They're either at one level or they quantum leap to the next. Your income works the same way. You don't gradually earn your way from 50,000 to 100,000. You exist at the 50,000 frequency until something fundamentally shifts in your energy, and then you quantum leap to the 100,000 frequency. But here's the problem. Most people are trying to push, hustle, and grind their way through a threshold that can only be crossed through energetic transformation. This is why you see people working half as hard as you making twice as much money. It's not because they have better strategies or more talent. It's because they're operating at a different energetic frequency. They've crossed a quantum wealth threshold that you're still banging your head against. And the more you try to force your way through using the same energy that got you to your current level, the more frustrated you become. Think about your own experience. There was probably a time when making $1,000 a month felt impossible, until suddenly it became your baseline. Then maybe $5,000 felt like the ceiling, until it wasn't. Each of these transitions wasn't just about learning new skills or working harder. Something fundamentally shifted in your energy, in how you related to money, in what you believed was possible for you. You crossed a quantum threshold. The problem is that most people don't understand how these thresholds work, so they keep trying to break through them using force, logic, and linear thinking. But quantum leaps don't respond to linear effort. They respond to energetic alignment, frequency shifts, and identity transformation. What's fascinating is that these quantum thresholds are predictable. You'll notice patterns in your financial history where you consistently land at certain numbers. Maybe you always hover around $3,000 in your bank account, no matter what. Or your monthly income always seems to stabilize around a specific figure. These aren't coincidences. These are your personal quantum wealth thresholds, the energetic set points where your system feels safe and familiar. And here's what makes this even more interesting. These thresholds aren't just about the total amount. They're also about the size of individual transactions you can handle. Someone comfortable receiving $50 payments will feel intense resistance when asked to receive a $5,000 payment. Their system hasn't been calibrated to hold that energetic frequency. The number itself carries an energy, and if you're not resonating at that frequency, receiving it will trigger your defense mechanisms. Most people spend their entire lives bouncing between the same 2 or 3 quantum levels, never understanding why they can't seem to break through to the next one. They blame external circumstances, bad luck, timing, the economy, anything but the real issue. They haven't shifted their energetic frequency to match the wealth level they're trying to access. You cannot force your way through a quantum threshold. You can only align your way through it. The anatomy of an income ceiling. Let's break down what's actually happening when you hit an income ceiling. At every wealth level, there's a specific energetic signature, a frequency that corresponds to that amount of money. To exist at the $50,000 level requires a certain energetic capacity. To exist at the $500,000 level requires a completely different one. These aren't just different amounts of money. They're different energetic realities. When you're operating at the 50,000 frequency, everything about you is calibrated to that level. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your daily actions, your nervous system regulation, your sense of what's normal, your idea of what's possible, even your physical environment. All of it is resonating at that specific frequency. And here's the key, that frequency is self-reinforcing. It creates evidence of itself everywhere you look. This is why people can give you the exact blueprint that made them millions, and you'll implement it and make 50,000. It's not the strategy that's different. It's the frequency you're implementing it from. A $50,000 frequency executing a $1 million strategy will produce $50,000 results. This is the quantum wealth threshold in action. Your income ceiling isn't out there in the market. It's not about the economy or your industry or your competition. Your income ceiling is inside you. It's the highest frequency of wealth your current energetic system can sustain. And just like in quantum physics, you can't exist between levels. You're either at one threshold or you quantum leap to the next. But here's what makes this challenging. Your current frequency feels normal to you. It feels like reality. The $50,000 person genuinely believes that's what they're worth, what they're capable of, what's realistic for them. They have an entire belief system, an entire energetic structure built around maintaining that level. And their mind will create endless logical reasons why they can't break through. The market is too saturated, they don't have the right credentials, they need more experience, the economy is bad, whatever explanation maintains their current threshold. This is why mindset work alone doesn't create quantum leaps. You can affirm and visualize all day long, but if your energetic frequency hasn't actually shifted, you'll stay at your current income ceiling. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are, to the frequency you're actually broadcasting. And here's something critical to understand. Your income ceiling is maintained by an entire ecosystem of patterns. It's not just one belief or one behavior. It's how you spend money, how you save money, how you talk about money, how you feel when you look at your bank account, what you believe you deserve, what you think is realistic, who you compare yourself to, what actions you take daily. All of these create a coherent frequency that locks you into a specific quantum level. This is why random acts of positive thinking don't work. You might affirm abundance for 5 minutes in the morning, but then spend the rest of the day operating from scarcity. You might visualize wealth, but then make financial decisions from fear. Your dominant frequency is what determines your quantum level, not your occasional positive thoughts. And your dominant frequency is shaped by thousands of micro-choices and unconscious patterns throughout each day. The wealth ceiling also has a defense mechanism built into it. When you start to approach the edges of your current threshold, your system will create crises, distractions, and drama to pull you back to center. Suddenly you'll have an unexpected expense, a health issue, a relationship problem, something that demands your attention and resources. This isn't bad luck. This is your system defending its current quantum level because breaking through feels threatening to its sense of stability and identity. Why your current strategy won't break the ceiling. Here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to hear. The strategy that got you to your current income level is incapable of taking you to the next one. Not because the strategy is bad, but because each quantum wealth threshold requires a fundamentally different energetic approach. You cannot think your way into the next level using the same thinking that's keeping you at this one. Let me give you a concrete example. When you're at the $10,000 a month level, your strategy might be about trading time for money, doing client work, being really good at your craft. That frequency, that approach, has a ceiling built into it. Maybe that ceiling is $20,000 or $30,000 a month, but there's a limit to how much time you can trade, how many clients you can serve, how many hours you can work. To break through to the $50,000 or $100,000 level, you need a completely different frequency. You need to shift from trading time to creating leverage, from being the doer to being the orchestrator, from individual contribution to building systems. This isn't just a strategic shift, it's an energetic transformation. It requires you to become a different person, to operate at a different frequency. But here's where most people get stuck. They try to add the new level strategy on top of their current level frequency. They try to build leverage while still believing they need to do everything themselves. They try to charge premium prices while still feeling guilty about their value. They try to scale while still operating from a scarcity mindset. And it doesn't work. You can't access a higher quantum level while still vibrating at a lower frequency. This is why you see people go through the same income patterns over and over. They hit their ceiling, they learn a new strategy, they get a temporary bump, and then they contract back to their set point. The strategy gave them momentary access to a higher level, but their frequency didn't actually shift, so they couldn't sustain it. They quantum leaped up and then fell back down. Breaking through a quantum wealth threshold isn't about finding the right strategy, or working harder, or being more disciplined. It's about fundamentally transforming your energetic frequency so that the higher level becomes your new baseline, your new normal, your new identity. The uncomfortable truth is that your current income level is a perfect reflection of your current frequency. Not the frequency you wish you had, not the frequency you think you have, but the actual frequency you're operating at moment to moment. If you want to know your true energetic frequency around money, don't listen to what you say, look at your bank account. The numbers don't lie. They're showing you exactly what frequency you're consistently broadcasting. And this is actually good news, because it means you're not a victim of circumstances. You're not stuck because of the economy, or your background, or your education, or bad luck. You're at your current level because that's the frequency you're vibrating at. Which means if you change your frequency, your income must change. It's not motivational philosophy. It's energetic physics. Change the frequency, change the results. But you have to actually change the frequency, not just think about changing it or want to change it. Here's another layer. Every quantum wealth threshold also has a corresponding speed of money flow. At lower levels, money tends to come in slowly and leave quickly. At higher levels, money flows in faster and sticks around longer. This isn't about the amount of money, it's about the velocity and retention. Someone at a higher quantum level might make the same amount as someone at a lower level, but their money behaves differently. It multiplies faster, it creates opportunities, it attracts more of itself. This is frequency in action. The energetic shifts that create quantum leaps. So how do you actually shift your frequency and break through to the next quantum wealth threshold? First, you need to understand that every income level requires you to let go of the identity that got you to your current level. This is why quantum leaps are uncomfortable. You're not just adding something new. You're dismantling who you've been. The person making $50,000 a year has a specific identity, a specific way of seeing themselves and the world. To make $500,000, you can't just be that person with better strategies. You have to become someone fundamentally different. Someone with different beliefs, different standards, different boundaries, different energy. This is an identity death and rebirth, and your ego will resist it with everything it has. The second shift is in your relationship with receiving. Every quantum wealth threshold has a corresponding capacity to receive. If you can only receive and hold $50,000 without freaking out, without self-sabotaging, without creating drama, that's your threshold. To break through, you need to expand your capacity to receive larger and larger amounts of money without your system going into overwhelm or shutdown. This means practicing being with the discomfort of having more. When you get a big payment, instead of immediately spending it or giving it away or diminishing it, you practice just holding it. You let your body get used to the frequency of abundance. You train your system that it's safe to have more, that more doesn't mean danger or loss or responsibility you can't handle. The third shift is in your energetic environment. You cannot maintain a high frequency while surrounding yourself with low-frequency people, situations, and environments. This doesn't mean abandoning everyone, but it does mean being ruthlessly honest about what and who is draining your energy versus expanding it. Every quantum leap requires you to upgrade your entire energetic ecosystem. This includes what you consume, what you watch, what you read, who you spend time with, what conversations you engage in, what energy you allow into your space. The fourth shift is in your energetic boundaries. At each quantum level, you need different boundaries. What you tolerated at the 50,000 level will destroy you at the 500,000 level. This means saying no to opportunities that used to excite you. Saying no to people who drain your energy. Saying no to activities that don't align with your new frequency. Every yes to something lower frequency is a no to the quantum leap you're trying to make. This is where a lot of people struggle because setting new boundaries feels uncomfortable, even mean. But maintaining low boundaries to make other people comfortable is exactly what keeps you at your current threshold. The version of you at the next quantum level has completely different standards for what they accept, who they work with, how they spend their time, and what they tolerate. You need to start embodying those boundaries now, before you've reached that level, because the boundaries are part of what creates the frequency shift. The fifth shift is in your relationship with time. Different quantum levels operate on different time paradigms. At lower levels, you're trading time for money, which creates a built-in ceiling. At higher levels, you're creating value independent of your time. But this isn't just about business model. It's about how you perceive time itself. Higher quantum levels require you to stop living in urgency and scarcity around time, and start operating from spaciousness and trust. Your relationship with time directly impacts your energetic frequency and therefore your income ceiling. Living beyond the threshold. Here's what happens when you actually break through a quantum wealth threshold. Everything changes. Not just your bank account, but your entire reality reorganizes around the new frequency. Opportunities that were invisible to you at the lower level suddenly become obvious. People who resonate at that frequency start showing up in your life. Resources appear. Synchronicities multiply. It's not magic. It's physics. You've shifted to a new energetic level, and reality is responding. But here's the crucial part. Maintaining a new quantum level requires you to keep choosing it. Your old frequency will try to pull you back. Old patterns will resurface. Familiar fears will emerge. This is normal. The difference is that now you recognize them for what they are. Invitations to contract back to your old threshold, and you consciously choose to stay at the new level. This is why so many lottery winners end up broke. They quantum leaped to massive wealth without doing the energetic work to sustain that frequency. Their system couldn't handle it, so they unconsciously did whatever it took to get back to their familiar level. The money didn't change them. They stayed at their old frequency while temporarily having access to a higher level's resources, and it couldn't last. Real wealth isn't about the money. It's about becoming the person who operates at that frequency naturally, effortlessly, sustainably. It's about transforming your energy so completely that the higher income level isn't something you achieve, it's something you are. This is when money stops being a struggle and starts being a natural byproduct of who you've become. And here's the beautiful part. Once you understand how quantum wealth thresholds work, you realize that there's no real ceiling except the one you haven't yet decided to break through. Every level you've been at felt like the limit until it wasn't. Every threshold you've crossed seemed impossible until you did it. The only difference between where you are now and where you want to be is the energetic frequency you're willing to embody. So the question isn't whether you can break through your current income ceiling. The question is, are you ready to become the version of you that already exists at the next quantum level? Are you willing to let go of who you've been to become who you need to be? Because the threshold isn't keeping you out. You're keeping you out. The truth is, there are infinite quantum wealth thresholds above where you are now. Each one represents a completely different way of being, a completely different energetic reality. The version of you making 10 million a year is operating at such a different frequency than the version of you making 100,000 that they would barely recognize each other. Not because one is better than the other, but because they're literally existing in different energetic dimensions of possibility. And here's what's both terrifying and liberating. You get to choose which quantum level you want to exist at. Not through wishing or hoping, but through the daily choice to embody that frequency. Every decision you make either reinforces your current threshold or moves you toward the next one. Every thought, every action, every boundary, every standard you set is either locking you into your current level or preparing you for the quantum leap. Most people never break through because they're waiting for permission, waiting for the right time, waiting to feel ready, waiting for circumstances to change. But quantum leaps don't work that way. You don't get ready and then leap. You leap and become ready in the process. You start embodying the frequency of the next level before you have evidence that it's possible, and that embodiment creates the evidence. That's how quantum physics works. The observer affects the outcome. You becoming the frequency creates the reality. So stop waiting for your income to change so you can feel abundant. Start being abundant now, and watch your income quantum leap to match your frequency.